It's closed on June 21st, 2022. We always start with our disclaimer. It's my trading plan for tomorrow, June 22. Remember, I can be completely wrong. Any trade you make should be at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is this. Tomorrow should have the early high. We said that if we gapped down smartly, that had all the elements we needed for a crash. Obviously, we didn't gap down smartly. In fact, gapping up sharply killed the whole idea before the open. Here's what we said. If we gap down smartly, elements for a crash are there. It doesn't mean we'll have one, but the elements were there. We'll never know what would have happened had we gapped under that, but that didn't happen. During the day, MEJT said early on, ultimately we'd see lower prices and ultimately we'd see higher prices, and those both played out. This drop was called false by the system, and that's already recovered. It's too bad we didn't gap under this because I had perfect timing, perfect wave count and everything. But this channel held, and that's just the way it goes. We could fill a lot of space and not change the long-term picture. Here's our long-term count. Have us in magenta C. We could fill all this space, but at some point I think we'll undercut this low and hit this trend line. I've been counting this as an impulse with 1, 2, but it breaks no rules if you count it as an ABC, which would have already played out. If you then want to have an ABC up, you can count this, but normally the percentage retrace would be more than what we've seen, even if we drop tomorrow. Gapped up, hit a higher high, stopped right at resistance, which is the FOMC price. And we closed under all these highs. Now what counts isn't how we close, but how we open. If we open over here, gap up, take this out fast, we've overcome resistance, we can go higher. But if we don't, it's a negative pattern, and we should see lower prices if we don't close lower. Now here's the stilt, here's a stilt, here's a diamond, so we have an inverted diamond on stilts. We now have a diamond again. It's common for there to be another stilt, but it certainly isn't required by any stretch of the imagination. Just remember, tomorrow's pattern, if it isn't a strong rally, tends to be a straight line drop. So strong as this rally was, you really want to clear these highs, or you could be in for a stilt down, but it's not a requirement. Tomorrow's pattern has really high, we could still gap down. Typically it's a rally day with a high in the final hour. Failure is a straight line drop. We gapped up at a higher high, closed under the intraday highs. Unless we gap and promptly overtake today's high, should see lower prices tomorrow regardless of how we close. We still have a valid wave count that says we're going to go lower than we've been, so I think any recovery here is going to be temporary. So bulls need to clear this high early tomorrow, ideally by gapping over it, or we should see lower prices with a possibility of a stilt down. But if the wave count that we've completed in ABC down is correct, I want to see more of a recovery than this, but I can't say that's required either. Tomorrow has the early high, and that's today's call.